for diasporians or people who want to move to a new country,
Yeah.
you have to be somebody who is very persistent, and you need to get used to having no's being said to you. And you need to remind yourself, like, why did I move into this country? I feel like foreigners who have moved to the UK
Yeah.
are actually filling in gaps that the UK economy has.
Let's talk about your life.
My life.
Yeah, your life abroad.
Yes. Hi guys, my name is Shumirai Tsitsi Mazombe. I'm a Zimbabwean based in the UK, and I'm here in Harare today to share my story with Kelvin Birioti. I will come back to Zimbabwe, and I will open schools in Zimbabwe that have got a different touch.
If you are to look at the situation in Zimbabwe, what do you think that we should focus on as individuals in this country to change our lives? The reason why I decided to make a video here at Africa Unit Square is because the place is beautiful, it's amazing, it's majestic, and they recently fixed the whole thing that you're seeing behind me. The scenery now, it's amazing. I know that you were born here,
Yes.
but you left at a very young age. How long have you been in the diaspora?
I've been in the diaspora for 24 years.
24
I
years.
left in 2000. I try to come home like every year.
You know, a lot of people, with everything that has been happening in Zimbabwe for years, people compare UK and Zimbabwe and say life is hard in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
So you have been in the UK for a long time, to an extent that if you wanted, you could have chosen, you know what, I don't want anything to do with Zimbabwe, I'm just gonna stay here. But in your case, it seems like you've been coming back. Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Why I keep coming back to Zimbabwe is
Yeah.
because I've got family ties, and as they always say, east or west, home is best.
Yeah.
So I am doing my best to maintain my ties with Zimbabwe, because at the end of the day, I'll always be Zimbabwean. No matter where I go, no matter where I get based in, I'll always remain Zimbabwean at the core. What else can I say? For example, when you talk about persistence, I remember like soon after I got into the UK,
Yeah.
you need to register for what's called your national insurance number. You need to get an NI card. You need to get like your bank accounts and everything. And I would go into the bank and I'll be trying to get a bank account,
Yeah.
and then they'll be like, how long have you been in this country? And you'll be like, oh, I just came last month, and they didn't want to know. So I remember like going from bank to bank to bank to bank on the high street,
Yeah.
trying to open a bank account, and like doors were just being shut before me,
Yeah.
because I was new into the country.
A foreigner.
So yes, I was a foreigner. So you really have to be somebody who is persistent. Though like I kept on receiving so many no's, I kept on going back and back. Today they say no, next week I'll go back again, till eventually I managed to open a simple thing like a bank account in the UK. So that's why I'm saying that for diasporians or people who want to move to a new country,
Yeah.
you have to be somebody who is very persistent, and you need to get used to having no's being said to you.
Does that not affect your health as an individual, or your mental health?
Oh yeah, when you started saying health, I was like, what health would be affected? Yes, your mental health can be affected. It can dim your, can I say that? It can dim your confidence. It
Exactly.
can dim your self-esteem. But you need to be somebody who picks themselves up
Yeah.
and get up again. And you need to remind yourself, like, why did I move into this country? And if it is the UK, you need to ask yourself, you need to remind yourself, this is the reason why I moved to the UK. And if it's any other country in the diaspora, always remember your why. Yeah. Always remember your why.
I want to talk about the treatment. Do you think that the treatment that foreigners are given in the UK or any European country is the same as the same treatment that we give foreigners in Africa, Zimbabwe to be specific?
That's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting question. I will answer this from my experience.
Yeah.
It might be different for another person.
Yeah.
Having lived in Zimbabwe for the first 18 years of my life, I got to see how foreigners were treated in Zimbabwe. And it seems like foreigners in Zimbabwe, they get this big, massive welcome. They get this big, massive mauya. They get the best of everything. That's just how we are as Zimbabweans.
We even have a song like Mauya, Mauya. I mean, that's how Africans are.
Yes,
We
yes. We are very welcoming.
Yeah.
And, but looking at my experience in the UK, I can say that the UK has had like loads of migrants like move into the country.
I understand.
So I think that has affected that has influenced how they welcome or embrace foreigners. You will meet people in the UK who will embrace you, who will love you, who will support you. But at the same time, you will also meet people in the UK who are tired of migrants because of their own experiences. So it's a mixture.
It's a mixture.
It's a mixture.
Can we really put South Africa into that category? Because South Africa as a country has been receiving a lot of foreigners in Africa to an extent that most of them are starting to complain a lot. Because if you have to look at the history of South Africa, how most of Zimbabweans, to be specific, are treated in South Africa, it's very harsh.
Yeah.
It's like most of them are complaining like foreigners, Zimbabweans are coming into our country taking our jobs.
Yes.
Is it the case in the UK? Like most of them will be complaining like foreigners, Africans are coming into our country taking our jobs.
I don't think it's the same.
Okay.
I don't think South Africa and the UK are the same. Because I feel like foreigners who have moved to the UK are actually filling in gaps that the UK economy has. Like a lot of people who've moved to the UK, they've gone in to fill in jobs in the care sector, in the nursing sector. Some have gone to be doctors. So these are fields where there are shortages. So it's not the same as in South Africa where, it's totally different.
What's your job?
What's my job? Well, at the moment, I am changing. I'm in transition. I am changing path. I'm a trained nurse and midwife in the UK, but I got to a point where I questioned myself, like, why did I embark on this journey of nursing and midwifery? And then I realized that when I got to the country as an 18-year-old, I didn't have any life experience. And I just looked at what people were doing, people of my race, people from Zimbabwe, what were they doing? And I learned that a lot of Zimbabweans back then were going into nursing. So I followed suit. I followed suit. And then there comes a time where you, as you get older, you question the decisions that you made. And then I had a look at myself, my talents, my abilities, and I realized that, you know what, I've got other passions.
I can do more.
I can do more. There are things that excite me more than what I got trained in. Like, for example, as I said, I did nursing and I did a degree in midwifery, but I realized that I've always loved academics. I've always loved working with children. And I think when you choose a career, you need to look at what comes naturally to you. And for me, it's kids. For me, it's academics. For me, I'm bubbly. And I realized that, you know what, I need to find a way of moving away from healthcare and going into education. So I'm literally halfway through my teacher training. So I'm doing a postgrad in primary education.
That's amazing.
And my desire, God helping me, is that one day I will come back to Zimbabwe and I will open schools in Zimbabwe that have got a different touch.
That's amazing.
And so that's what I'm doing right now, pursuing a career in education now. Difficulty at work. Well, the one thing that has just come to mind is the issue about race. Especially like the older generation, the older generation of some people who live in the UK. they grew up in a system where blacks and whites were separated.
Exactly.
And they probably saw black people as beneath them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have had experiences, personally have had experiences where as a nurse, I would go in the tent to somebody and they'll be like, no, I want a nurse. And basically they'll just be telling you that I don't want you to look after me. I need somebody who's white to look after me. So the good thing about where I used to work, we realized that was a problem. And we literally had a staff meeting and we said that this has to stop. If there's any patient who says that they want a different nurse, a white nurse, you just tell them that we are all wearing the same uniform, we are all nurses, and I can attend to you. So you need to make a choice. So that is how we nipped that attitude of racism where it comes to. I went to Haiti in 2010.
Yeah.
In 2010, that's when there was that massive earthquake in Haiti.
Exactly.
And fortunately, at that time, I was already a nurse and a midwife, and I had my pastors then. They remembered that I was a nurse and a midwife, and they literally called me, and they were like, Shumi, we just remembered that you're a nurse and a midwife. Would you like to go to Haiti? And that is how I went to Haiti, and I helped volunteer and help during that post-earthquake period, and it was absolutely amazing. It was wonderful. I remember when I got to the airport, and I presented my Zimbabwean passport, and the immigration officials, they were like, what? Zimbabwe? And they literally called the lady who was attending to me. She literally screamed out in the office, come and see, we've got an African who's come to help us, and they were just so welcoming. So yes, I went to Haiti.
If you are to look at the situation in Zimbabwe, what do you think that we should focus on as individuals in this country to change our lives?
What we should focus on as Zimbabweans?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing that's coming to mind, I'm just speaking from my heart.
Yeah.
The thing that's coming to mind is, as Zimbabweans, we should take pride in our country. And I think that if we start having that sense of pride and ownership, Zimbabwe will become a better country, a better nation. And simple things like, for example, tidiness of our cities, tidiness of our towns. If we become proud of our surroundings, we wouldn't litter. We wouldn't litter our streets. We wouldn't litter our neighborhoods.
I want to talk about your music career.
Yes.
You've been doing music for that long. Is it passion?
It is passion. It is definitely 100% passion. I love music.
Yeah,
I absolutely love music. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I could sleep inside a guitar. I wish I could sleep inside a keyboard.
Yeah.
I want to sleep in a xylophone. I absolutely love music. I dream music, literally.